Tonic water. We've drank so many gin and tonics over the time, but I've never really thought about what actually is tonic water. So today on Let's Talk Drinks, you guys are going to learn a little bit about the history of tonic water and how you mix it. Alright guys, so what is tonic water? So it's actually quinine, which comes from the cinchona bark, or the cinchona tree. It also has some sugar and carbonated water. So the cinchona tree is native to the Andean ranges in South America. A missionary noticed that the indigenous people would give a bark from the cinchona tree to people that had a fever. They would suck on that and it would actually take away their fever. It was potent, it worked really well, and that's why the cinchona tree was eventually called the fever tree. By the mid-17th century, the Europeans started grinding it down and taking it back to Europe. And what they would do is they would mix it with wine because it's so bitter to counteract the taste, and it was known as a super cure for fevers. By 1820, French scientists worked out how to actually remove the quinine from the powder, and it made it a lot more potent. This came at a perfect time because the European empires were starting to expand into a lot of the malaria-ridden parts of the world. The South American republics like Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia, they really wanted to protect their cinchona trees. So they imposed strict export restrictions and taxations on all the seeds and barks that they would send away so that they could obviously make a huge amount of money. And fair enough so, but then the dodgy Europeans like the Dutch and the English, what they decided to do is they just secretly sent expeditions into these areas and they started stealing the seedlings and the plants so that they could take it away to their colonies and plant them themselves and not have to pay all these taxes. Before you know it, they were growing trees in India, Africa and Indonesia because a lot of those places had heaps of malaria. So you're probably wondering, who had the idea of adding tonic water to gin? So the British soldiers around 1825, when they were posted in India, were given quinine, and it was a daily ration that they had to take. It was normally around about 6 o'clock, because 6 o'clock at night is when all the mosquitoes come out. They would grind it down, add some sugar and water to it, just to make it taste a lot better because it is really bitter. And then they also had their gin rations. So they decided, hey, let's add a splash of gin to it. And then a lot of them were used to drinking limes from on the ships to prevent scurvy. They added that as well, and before you knew it, every 6 o'clock at night, they'd start having their gin and tonic, and that's how the cocktail hour started. It was a pretty good excuse to get pissed on gin and tonics too. Nowadays, there's so many different types. I mean, you just got to have a look here. These are just some of the fever tree range, which I love. We've got Mediterranean, we've got elderflower, you've got the Indian tonic, aromatic, lemon tonic. There's a few other flavours as well. I remember going to Spain and we went into one of the bars there in Barcelona and there was 72 different gin and tonics and they all had their separate gin, tonic and garnish. It's massive. Tonic works really well with tequila. I also love having it with Jameson or any other Irish whiskey in a highball. Hit subscribe please and give us a like or a comment. If there's other things that you want me to actually do a review on, let me know. I hope that gives you a little bit of an idea about what tonic actually is, and we'll see you all again soon.